and gentlemen, let's begin. This is a bare bones quick tutorial on how to build a list for Battletech Alpha Strike using the master unit list. Start by putting the words master unit list into a browser, or excuse me, a search engine. Press enter. If you get a little red icon like this and it says MasterUnitList.info, this is the one you're looking for. Obviously you can just type in MasterUnitList.info and it will bring you to this page. Now, there are two functions inside of this website that we are going to be paying attention to and mostly dealing with. The first one is the Units tab, and the second one is the Force tab. Inside the Force tab, you have Alpha Strike Builder and you have Total Warfare Builder. If you're wanting to build a classic Battletech list, you'll use Total Warfare Builder. If you're going to build an Alpha Strike list, you'll use the Alpha Strike Builder. We are going to start over in the Units. So I'm running a clan invasion campaign with Alpha Strike, and I have determined some filters that are going to filter out a bunch of different things and are going to hone in on the machines available for the campaign. So I've chosen to start our intro date at 2005. Which sounds a little weird, but just that's the first iteration of things inside the Battletech universe having stats. So that gets us all the way back to the beginning. And this is going to be 3052 because that is when the Battle of Tukid happens, which ended the clan invasion. Canonically, anyhow. And by end, I mean put a giant pause on it. Okay, before we get too far, I want to make sure that we have some starting points. So this is the Units tab in the Alpha Strike Force Builder tab over here. You're going to have your actual list. Now, you can use the Units tab to create your list, but once you go from the Units tab to the Force tab, it loses all of your unit filters, which is why I have two tabs open. Okay, let's continue with the filters. The Alpha Strike, I'm going to have a minimum point value of 1, maximum point value of 99. This gets rid of some variations and variants of machines we don't need to be paying attention to and hoping for. So that way they don't end up on a list and then do nothing with it. I have Inner Sphere, Clan, and Mixed. Not that there's very many opportunities for Mixed, but there are some Inner Sphere machines that the clans would have had access to because they were taken from the Star League days. Now we go down to rules. We're going to go Intro, Standard, and Advanced. I don't want to play with the experimental stuff. We're not going to play with the unknown. Types. There's going to be two types here. We're going to have battle mechs and we're going to have infantry. We're not going to play with tanks or aerospace fighters. Just try to keep things simple. We're going to skip the sources filter. We're going to go down to factions. So the first thing as a clan is you're going to type in IS clan general. So every invading clan will have access to this batch of battle mechs. You would think that, oh, why don't I just type in an invading clan and not have to worry about it? Because this is Jade Falcon specific battle mechs and Omni mechs, and these are mechs available to any of the invading clans. Now, you did see on there where it said Jade Falcon Star League. This is farther in the timeline than we actually want to play with for this scenario. If you are so inclined to use some of the Star League designs, let's type in Star League and see what pops up. So again, we have the Star League Jade Falcon, we have Smoke Jaguar, Clan Wolf, Second, General, Exile, Regular, and Royal. Royal is going to be one that we're going to include we're also going to include regular if you are inclined to use the inner sphere designs. Under subtypes, to narrow things down a little bit further, we're going to choose battle armor and we're going to choose battle mech. For those of you that don't know, there is a difference between a battle mech and an omni mech, and we want those delicious omni mechs available, so we're going to go down to omni mech and make it used. Now we're going to go to availability era and we're going to choose clan invasion. So we have 277 units that are available in the clan invasion that are omni mechs, battle mechs, and battle armor that belong to these 4 faction types that fall under the categories of infantry or battle mech, have the rules of advanced, standard, and introductory, use technology of mixed, clan, and inner sphere, have alpha strike point values falling between 1 and 99, and have an intro date of 2005 to 3052. So when I press filter, all of the machines that I should have available to me now show up. I also have an infantry tab. This infantry tab gives me access to the 3 kinds of battle armor that all of the clans would have been able to use, which are elementals. And by all of the clans, I am referring to the invasion clans. So you also notice that these 2 first ones indicate that it is a space version of the elemental. They also are worth less points in the point value tabs. I don't care about those 2. We're going to pick either flamer, laser, or machine gun. And they're going to have a little bit different options with them, but I'm not going to play with those at the moment. So now we are looking at all of these battle mechs, these 272 machines. There's a bunch of different ways I can try to digest this information. I have name going alphabetically forward or backwards. I have tonnage, low to high, or high to low. I also have battle value. For the most part, Alpha Strike players are not really going to care too much about the battle value. Now, typically will indicate whether their point value, how their point value is organized and generated, but battle value and point value don't always match up very well. Like you can see, this Warhawk is 52 points and is worth more than this Gladiator in battle value, but is cheaper in point value, and it's a lot less than this Imp C. So, as an Alpha Strike player, we care about we care about the point value, but as a classic BattleTech player, we're going to organize things according to battle value. So, those are helpful little things you can use if you're also doing this by role and you want to create a lance or a star or an entire company of just brawlers. You can do it this way. I've never used the TRO-RS up and down thing. Neither have I done it to rules. Sometimes era is okay. Intro can help you figure out, okay, if I want to stay true to canonical sources, then I'm going to start my invasion era stars with an intro date of 3048 or earlier. So that would be the only time that I would play with the intro dates. And then I wouldn't use the 3052 machines until Tukid. Alright, so that is the how to find all the machines and how to look at everything available to your Talman or your war chest. So now let's work on building a list. So a few things to keep in mind. The first of which is, how on earth would I group battle mechs together? I pulled this off of a website a couple of years ago, probably off of Reddit in one of the BattleTech pages, but this is a star organization chart of how you would group machines together, and they make any lick of sense. Now there are some examples in lore where they don't follow these patterns. One example is Natasha Kerensky's command star. She's in her direwolf, she's got 2 timberwolves with her, she's got a mist lynx and an ice ferret. So you'll notice on here that we don't have light mechs and assault mechs in the same star. That would make some sense because light mechs and assault mechs have very different capabilities. But obviously this is a rule and rules have exceptions. So do what you will with this information. I tend to stick with these formations. They make a lot of sense. And if you stick with one of these formations, then you can always run a battle star or a lance, because your weight categories can help you qualify for a battle formation. And who doesn't like having rerolls? Which is the whole benefit in using a battle lance or battle star. Okay, so we're gonna go through, we're gonna pick some machines, and we're gonna pick this one. We're gonna grab 2 mediums, 2 lights, and a heavy, just to create a star real fast. I know from personal experience that I like the Kit Fox S. I'm gonna go find that one. Here it is. So I'm gonna go all the way over here to the right. I'm gonna press plus. I'm gonna click on this. Okay, so after these things actually get loaded in the browser, they're gonna show up in this general area as a part of my list. So I have one of my lights. I'm gonna go find another one. Give me an adder. So I'm gonna go find what do I have this organized under? We're gonna do tonnage. Sorry, I'm gonna do names, and then I'm gonna do tonnage and see if that changes. There we go. So now all of my fire moths are paired together. So now this is gonna be a lot easier to go through and find what I want. Alright, here are my adders. I'm gonna grab an adder prime. So there, I have my 2 light mechs, still not showing up there. I've got my 2 light mechs. Now let's go grab some mediums. I want to change one of my basic filters. I'm done with my light mechs. I know that mediums go into 40 tons, and I know that I'm going to stop at heavy, so I'm going to stop at 75. So I'm going to go back here, enter that filter into the system, wait for it to catch up. There we go. So now I filtered out all of the light mechs and all of the assault mechs, and all I have left are mediums and heavies in here. Let's see if this did what I wanted to do. Here we go. So now you'll see that I have a Kit Fox S and an Adder Prime. I've got 2 units in here. It gives me my stock battle value, but remember, I'm not actually going to do anything with that at the moment. I'm going to go grab 2 other medium. I'm going to grab 2 mediums. I'm going to grab an ice ferret because it's a personal favorite of mine. You'll also notice that every time I press one of these plus signs to add a unit into my star, it shoots me back up to the top, which is another reason I don't typically build my lists from this page. It's like, ooh, I've got a Griffin and a Kintaro in here. I could use those, but I could also use one of these beautiful Storm Crows. So I'm going to grab the Storm Crow D because it brings a bunch of missiles. Okay, so now I know that I'm done with medium mechs. So I'm going to filter out all the mediums so I don't have to scroll so far, and I'm going to go find me a heavy mech. I can also click on here and go, look, I have my 2 light mechs, I've got my 2 medium mechs. Now I just need 1 more unit. And for the sake of scrolling, I'm just going to grab this crossbow prime, because I know that I've got another missile boat in my list. So you'll see that it hasn't loaded in here again yet, so I'm going to click filter, so that way it changes some stuff on the page, and now it shows up on here. What I could do is I could click Alpha Strike Builder, and then all of these machines are going to show up as a part of my list. But let's say that maybe I'm not done. Maybe I need to figure some more things out. So I'm going to go over here to the Alpha Strike List Builder. I knew that I grabbed a Kit Fox. I'm using the Trueborn names instead of the Freebirth names because we are taking on the role of the clan, so I'm gonna keep doing that. I grabbed an Adder Prime. You can just simply click on the names instead of actually clicking on the plus sign, just to show you that's an option. And I grabbed an Ice Ferret Prime, and what was my other medium? I don't remember. It was a Stormcrow D. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna switch back between my tabs. Stormcrow D right there. Okay, and then I grabbed a Crossbow Prime. And so these are Crossbow Battle Mechs, where these are Crossbow Omni Mechs, and it is important to make sure that you grab the right thing, because you'll also notice that these are 60 tons and these are 65 tons. Makes a big deal. Alright. One of the things to pay attention to is the stock skill value to start with is 4, but this is an inner sphere standard. The clan standard is skill 3. So I'm going to change all these guys to frontline cluster skills 3. So if I were shooting for a 225 point list, I'd be sitting pretty at 222. So if I'm going to make a bid for a 225 point list, and I'm allowed to bid 100 points over, which allows me to bid up to 325 points, but I also know that the lowest bid is going to win the bid, then I can claim 222 if I've done my homework. Now, that being said, I can also look at these and go, okay, well, my Kit Fox is probably going to hang out in medium range. He can shoot at long range, so can the Ice Ferret, so maybe, just maybe, I'll bump them down to skill 4. And if I'm happy with that, I can go down as low as 208. But I also look at this and I'm like, okay, maybe I want my Adder Prime to sit back and snipe. And I'm happy with 2 skill 4s, 2 skill 3s, and a skill 2 pilot. Because these guys are going to go in at medium range or closer. This guy's going to sit at long range and break some stuff. And then these two can do whatever they want because they do the same damage all day at all ranges. So this is a quick and dirty way to look through a Battletech list and create what you're looking for from this. So just to prove a point, I'm going to click on I'm in my, this is the unit tab as opposed to the Alpha Strike Force Builder tab. I'm going to use the unit tab to go into the Alpha Strike Force Builder, and it created these machines at this value. So I could also run these 5 machines at 185 points and pretend that they're Freebirth instead of Trueborn Warriors. Because if they were Trueborns, they would probably have a base skill of 3. Now, seeing as these 5 machines all have different, that they have different skills, it's very unlikely that you'll see a clanner with a skill of 5, because 3 is their standard, and then these guys are probably the free births. So that being said, play around with your skill values, but stay inside of what would make sense, assuming you care about lore at all. That is the quick and dirty version of how to build a list. There are a bunch of different buttons in the unit tab that I did not play with. What I'm going to try is clicking into the unit tab, and you'll notice that all of my filters disappeared. So I'm going to try this one other way. I'm going to use the back button. Oh, here we go. So I can use the back button and I can get all my filters returned. So it's not completely gone. The other nice thing about this is, let's say you want to go look at a Rifleman C. It's like, ooh, this is 2s at all values. It is a cheap mech, but you get overheat value of 1. You've got flak at all ranges, but that flak is 0 with an asterisk. But you also have overheat long. So maybe you're like, I really want to put a Rifleman on the table, but I'm a clanner. I can still do that. So we're going to back up out of that. I'm going to back up again, and I still have all of my basic filters in here. And that, for the 3rd time, is how you make a list according to the parameters we've set for this clan invasion campaign. Thanks for watching. We're going to try and fill in some blanks for a few of you folks, because some of you are pretty new to Battletech and how all of this stuff works. So maybe you don't know what a vulture is. Maybe you don't know what a mad dog is. Maybe you're still confused as to which name you're supposed to be calling this thing. It's like, okay, so a lot of these mechs are an omni-mech, especially if it doesn't have some kind of a alphanumeric designator in here, like a BMB-12D. This is an inner sphere machine that the clans had available. You can tell because it has the Star League symbol over here, and this was one of those mechs that was available during the Star League that the clans would have taken with them. Now, if you're not a lore nut like I am, then you may not know that. So what you may need to look for is the word prime in some of these variations. So I'm going to start with the Mad Dog Prime. We're going to check it out. I clicked on just the name of the thing, and then it brings me to here. So this is the unit card for this machine. There's a bunch of special rules in here. If you're not playing with alternate munitions, then LRM, SRM, and AC aren't going to mean anything to you. And for our campaign, we're not doing alternate munitions. But indirect fire is a thing, Omni is important, and Case is important. If you do not have line of sight to the thing you want to shoot at, and you have a spotter, then you can utilize indirect fire for the amount of damage that comes after IF. Omni allows you to carry battle armor onto the field, and battle armor is a whole new ballgame. We'll go touch on them in a minute. And Case. Case is a bit of equipment that allows you to not die from an ammo explosion. You do still take an extra point of damage, but you don't die immediately. So maybe this isn't the variant of the Mad Dog I thought it was, or maybe it doesn't do something I want it to do. Alright, so I'm going to go back to my unit list so I know exactly what is available. I have the A, the B, the C, and the double D. Oh, and there's an S over here. So now I'm going to go through these. The A has case, omni, just like the other ones did, but this has SRM. Again, I said that the SRM, LRM, and AC we don't care about because those are alternate munitions. But now flak is here. Flak only matters whenever you shoot at airplanes and VTOLs, because if you miss by a certain amount, you still deal your flak damage instead of your main damage. So this one is also 42 points. This one does 5 at short, 5 at medium, 2 at long. So this one does less long range damage than the previous one did, but it still has an overheat value. Overheat comes into play at short and medium unless you have OVL in your special unit box, and then you can deal that damage at long range. But let's say the A still doesn't wet my whistle. Doesn't give me what I want. So I'm gonna go look at the B. Alright, this one is 1 point cheaper, not a bad thing. This one does 4 at short, 4 at medium, 2 at long, similar to the last one, but this one does 4 for overheat. And it can deal that damage at long range, so maybe this is the one I like, but it only has IF1. Alright, not a bad idea. Like being able to do 6 damage at long range, if it's a good hit, or if it's a good chance. But again, maybe it's still not the one I'm looking for, so I'm going to go try the C. This one has case and omni, just like every other omni mech does. This does 3 at short, 3 at medium, 3 at long. This is the variant that brings 2 gauze rifles, so you're not going to deal any overheat damage, but you're going to deal 3 points of damage all day, every day. And this one's way cheaper. So maybe this is the one that I bump up to skill 2 and just stand in the back and sling depleted uranium rods at stuff. Because that's what the gauze rifles do. So this is the Mad Dog DD. Again, we're back up to 41 points. This has 5 short, 5 medium, 2 long. This one doesn't have an overheat value. Still case, flak, indirect fire, and omni. The other one that did damage here, the overheat was 2, but it was 42 points. Not gaining a whole lot by the double D Mad Dog over the previous Mad Dog. So now we're going to go over to the Mad Dog S, or Sierra. Alright, back up to 42 points. Short is 4, medium's 4. This one does long range damage at 3. Does overheat. Ooh, this one has ENE. Doesn't have case. Still has Omni. This one has PRB and RCN. This is probe, which just helps you find units that are hiding. And then we have recon. This right here benefits you for battlefield intelligence. And ENE makes the ammo critical count as you didn't take a crit. Because if you don't bring ammo, then they can't hit it, which means you can't explode because of it. So it makes you immune to ammo criticals, which is nice, but it's only 1 out of 12 options. And it's a 1 out of 36 chance, but you don't get insta-killed. And this one brings recon. So maybe this is the one that I get. Ooh, here's this other thing. I have jump jets now. That's pretty nice. So now that we've looked at how do we look and see what these things actually bring as far as the Alpha Strike, what I want, I'm going to go one step further and go look at Sarna. So Sarna is the... I don't even know what that was. Okay, sorry. Sarna is the Battletech Wiki. So I'm just going to type the name of the thing in here. It is a Mad Dog. Boop. Did it again. Alright, so this is the Mad Dog Vulture. You'll see there's a bunch of different things in here. I want Mad Dog / Vulture, or I'll just do Mad Dog, because maybe I'm not sure. It still shows up as Mad Dog Vulture in here. This is a Clan Heavy Omni-Mech. Okay, this looks just like the picture I was just playing with. It's 60 tons. Okay, cool. Lots of things here. Oh, wait, this is the primary configuration. I was looking at a different one, so I'm going to click on the alternate configurations, and I'm going to go look in here. So the DD is built for long-range combat. The left side and short range combat on the right. The right carries a trio of medium pulse lasers, a Streak 6, and a ton of ammo carried in the right torso. The left torso carries an Artemis 4 enhanced LRM 20 with a meager 1 ton of ammunition, a pair of LB2 autocannons, and their shared ton of ammo are mounted in the left arm. I don't know about you, but that doesn't sound very exciting to me. That might be why it's lackluster performance. It's like, wait, why didn't the D get to show up? Wait, this is, there's ATMs. That sounds new and fancy, and it is. It didn't show up until the next time frame. Excuse me, the next era. But the S, why is the S all the way down here? Oh, the S carried an ERPPC in each arm, medium pulse lasers installed in each torso. 2 double heat sinks in the left and right, and it has an active probe, 5 jump jets. Okay, cool. I don't know about you, but I like to go and look at what the classic BattleTech version would have had, but I'm also a lore nut, so maybe you don't jump in this far. Especially if none of these things mean anything to you. But if you want to dive in that rabbit hole, you can. Every time you see blue letters and it pops up like that, you can go click on that. And it'll bring you to another bit of information. You can also see what each of the variants offers. The Mad Dog C does have 2 Gauss rifles in each, 2 Gauss rifles for its armament. That is how you go and figure out more information on all of the battle mechs. You're like, oh, maybe I didn't need all that information. Sorry. It only took 10 minutes though.